Okay, nice quick job today, hopefully, pre-breakfast, is to build a little retaining wall here for a raised bed for the herbs that we've dug out of the veg patch. They're in pots and they really need to go back in. The idea is that they're going to be up here on the patio now next to the barbecue and the outdoor kitchen area, so it's a lot more useful. So what I've gone ahead and done yesterday is used up some more of our fence posts, 3x4 100mm posts. They're treated timber and they're just sunk in about half of the height, or sorry, about the same height again underground. They're in concrete, and what that's going to do is give us a fixing point for our sleepers. So the reason I'm doing that is because the sleepers that are going to go along here I'm going to use in their tallest form rather than on their bellies like we did the patio, and they're never as strong that way. So we'll stick one on at the bottom there and we'll bolt it on and then work our way up. It's a really small retaining bed. Now if you're going to do this on a much bigger scale, you know, if you're retaining a garden wall or, you know, a driveway or something, you'd really want to sink these out to your posts. So you cut them maybe into I don't know, 4 foot, 6 foot lengths, and then put pretty much half of it underground, concrete that in loads, really strong, and then attach your sleepers to a sleeper post. And that's only if you're using these on their end, which obviously uses less timber as well. One other thing you might have noticed is this blue pipe that goes along here. That's some of the pipe we had left from running the new water mains. I think it's 32 or 35mm MDPE pipe. And what I'm using that for is a conduit to run our garden hose through. So I've buried that under the patio. This will be backfilled full of soil. It's going to go through that wall, and it just means if we ever need to run a cable down to the bottom garden or a hose, which we're going to leave in there permanently, it's under there and it's not all over the surface of the patio. And I did the holes again using the fence post auger, which worked a treat. Right, so we're pretty much there now. So before we drop them in, we're going to need to cut them to length. I used the chainsaw for most of the work on the patio, but considering it's 7:30 in the morning, the neighbours might not approve. So we're going to go at it with a handsaw. Hopefully I've got one sharp enough. Right, so we'll cut these to length and then we need to go hunt for some fixings. Right, see how hard going this is. So this is green oak. Look at that. Lovely grain. So much nicer than softwood sleepers. Right, I think I should have had my breakfast first. One more to go. Oh. Harder work, but much more peaceful than a chainsaw. Alright, that fitted well. We'll go and get a level it off, but I need to go and find some bits from the garage now. I need to get an auger bit or a drill bit that's going to drill our 10mm holes, and I need to find the bolts we're using. I'm going to use some coach screws, and they're stainless steel ones. That's quite important. I mentioned it in the videos before, but oak has a tendency to eat through metal, especially kind of steel, so good quality stainless steel should last. And I'm going to try and do that from the back. Of course, we've used oak dowels in a lot of the construction elsewhere, so I may put in some faux dowels in the front just to kind of tie it all in. But I definitely need to get those bolts in the back before we start backfilling this. We need to go up quite a bit that end. So actually that 10mm spade bit cuts through pretty well. I've only got 120mm bolts or screws. So what I'm going to do is just countersink the head of the coach screws into the back of the post. That means it'll probably just give us another 10mm bite into the oak. And we need to make sure when we countersink the head of this coach screw into the back, we see here that's giving us about halfway through into the oak. I want to make sure that the forcing bit that I'm using to countersink it will allow for the socket, which I'm using to tighten it up. So effectively it will just countersink the head. Looking at it, it's probably unnecessary. It probably is gripping enough, but might as well do it properly. See how we go. Something really satisfying about when you bolt timbers up and they pull in really tight. It's quite a satisfying part of the job. That's not going anywhere. So I've still got one more coat of the Osmo UV oil to go on all of the sleepers, all these ones. I've only done one of them. What I wanted to do is make sure that everything was finished, like the patio and all the mortar was down and things like that could potentially scratch it. And then we'll give it one more sand and another coat. They say you don't need to sand between coats, but I think because I've only done one and then left it for a month, some of the grains raised up a bit, and also I've dinged it and scratched it a little bit during the construction process. So we'll give it a quick rub over and then oil that, and it's going to look the business. And we'll do this one the same to match in. Maybe it's time I do get an impact driver. That's one in, and that is going absolutely nowhere. The idea being that if these are the same height as here, it will essentially become a bit of a bench or a sitting area as well. Okay, this time I'm going to put the countersink in first, because it's quite hard to centre and force a bit on an existing hole. So if I put that in, then we'll make sure our pilot hole goes through the middle of that. So that's it for the sleepers. I'm not going to do any more to them now. They need sanding, routing and staining, but we'll do that when we finish the oak sleepers all at the same time. This afternoon's job, if I can spare a couple of hours, is to start the prep for this lower patio here. All the slabs are out, so I know exactly what's going where, pretty much. So I need to start mixing up, and we'll lay these, and it'll be a bit of a test patch ready for the big patio later in the week. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you in the next video. So we're a week on now, and as you can see, nothing's changed. we've had a complete change of plan, and I'm now going to take it all out again. It turned out that this was actually going to be the best spot to build our outdoor kitchen area. So the herbs are going to go into planters that will sit on the patio, and instead we're going to build a brick built sort of countertop here and use up the space for that. We'll reuse the sleepers, and luckily it was only bolts, so we can just take those out and we'll sit them to one side and make some steps with them. We'll take these out. I'm going to pour a concrete slab, reinforce it with some mesh. Then, using all the old house bricks that we've taken out of the house, the old London bricks, we will construct some walls. And I'm actually going to build a pizza oven. Still not sure if I'm going to build it or buy a perlite type dome and then brick it up afterwards and insulate it, or if we do it from scratch. And then there'll be a bit of tabletop left and right, possibly even a little sink as well, because I've run that MDPE blue pipe down here. I might be able to get another 15mm pipe down there, or a small bore sort of pipe, and we'll just run a cold water feed to here as well.